We're going to be talking about how to build a subscription. The thing with ROI decisions in terms of inexpensive software, just try everything and then cancel it if you don't like it. A lot of times we overthink things and it slows us down. The speed to which the world is moving is pretty crazy. So you got to keep up. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the owner of Book Daddy. In these lessons, I talk about something different every single time. Last week, we talked about doing short stories and how to do that. And then we also talked about how to keep your reader's attention. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit more business. A couple things to note. We're coming up with a bunch of new apps for business stuff, probably this week. A new ad creator, a new website builder, all sorts of cool stuff. We'll send you emails when that's done. For now, here's one thing. Let's say you sell a bunch of books on Amazon. What's the point of becoming an Amazon bestseller? Not because it's going to make us $1 million, but because it gives you authority. You're the expert, you're the authority. And if you reach out to, let's say, podcasts or social media or blogs or even your local bookstore, or you want to sell additional products and services to someone, if you say, hey, I'm Jonathan, I'm a best-selling author, all of a sudden people are like, wow, that's amazing. Now I trust you. Because how many people do you know are Amazon bestseller? A random sample. I know that's a statistics term, but it's like you walk down the street, ask 100 people on the street, how many of them are Amazon bestsellers? On average, how many? Zero. The answer is going to be zero. It's probably point one out of 500, one out of 1,000 people might be an Amazon bestseller. It might even be less than that. So all of a sudden, you're one out of 1,000 people, and you played all of them in tennis, and you were the best tennis player. You're probably pretty good at tennis. If you're an Amazon bestseller, and then in particular, you're an Amazon bestseller in a particular niche, whether that's business or self-development or self-help or history or fiction or memoir, in that particular niche, you are probably top 10 in the world at that thing. This is why reading is so important. When people say that they don't read, I'm just shocked. I'm like, okay, you just gave up. The world told you to go to school and read and you should learn and education is good. And then you were in your 20s and you decided, nope, I don't care about improving or learning from the best people in the world. It's just shocking to me. But anyways, the best people in the world write books. It's a great filter. I bet if I type in books on handball Olympics, it's like random. Behind the goal, a deep dive into an Olympic handball. It thinks I'm a robot. BXEGTX. In Europe, it's crazy. So this guy, who knows anything handball? It's like crazy. But there's people that love it, right? There's a lot of people that love it. And this guy is probably one of the best in the world at handball. If I want to become an expert at handball, I should probably read the top 10 books on handball. Even if it's super niche, they're like, hey, I wrote the book. You have to do everything right to become a bestseller. And the easiest way to do that is on Amazon. But after that, what do you want to do once you have the authority? Do you want to keep giving Amazon money? What should you do instead? Instead of sending people to Amazon, you send them to your own website, landing page, funnel, that's all the same. And from there, people will buy your book, but what will you also get? So one, you're going to make more profit. What will you also get? What's another very important thing? Contact info, exactly. So the email, phone number, which goes into a CRM, customer relations management software, just a fancy term for software that keeps track of everything. And now you have a newsletter. So let's say for ego purposes or whatever, you want to be published by Penguin Random House. And imagine you say, hey, by the way, I have 15,000 people on my email list. They read it all the time. My last book was a bestseller. Do you want to publish me? What do you think they're going to say? Probably, yeah, right? Because you have all, they know, very low risk. You've built up this massive audience. But if you just send a bunch of people to Amazon and then you don't have their information, it's going to be hard. And then what do we always say? So your first upsell, we usually suggest that it's a subscription. And then we always say you should do a calendar, talk to people, see if they want any more help. This is just a basic funnel. So this is going to be why you should buy my book. And then they buy the book and you collect their information. You want to have a one-click upsell that is usually somewhere between as low as $7 to $99 a month. You know, how do you sell a subscription or a membership? You got to have one. You got to have a name and then what's included. You have a feature stack, which is like you get weekly live calls, you get one-on-one with me, you get access to my software, You get once a year event. You get ongoing support. I know people that have subscriptions where all it is they get access to the person's WhatsApp. I know people that sell $10,000 a year subscriptions, and all it is that you get access to the main guys or the main girls' WhatsApp. Whenever you have a question, they'll answer your question on WhatsApp. You're essentially buying their mentorship. The way you want to think about it is that this is called an ascension model, or some people call it like an ascension ladder. So you have your low ticket product, which is your book. Then you have audiobook as like the next level, and then subscription, and then you have something that's expensive, which is called high ticket. Maybe like 2K plus. What's the benefit of a subscription? The subscription is sometimes you get more money than the high ticket. So let's say the subscription is $49 a month. So community, you have software, you maybe have your own version of BookDaddy or Deal.ai or something like that, where you make your own software. My business partner Alex created something called Famous.ai like 2 weeks ago, which is totally insane. And you can white label that. There's all sorts of different softwares that you can create. I have another company that helps companies raise money, and we use Go High Level. There's all sorts of different subscription options that you can have. When would the subscription actually be worth more to your business than the expensive product? Do you have your CPA or your cost per click, your cost per acquisition, your average order value, and then tracking in marketing, DPM. It's good. Lifetime value. So you're tracking the lifetime value. The lifetime value is the average order value, meaning that's what they paid, and then they never pay you again, ever again in their whole lives. Or sometimes they keep on coming back and they buy more and more, so that increases the lifetime value, right? For some of you guys that are in the United States, to say, oh, I like Target. You go to Target one time, is that it? Is that the lifetime value for you, your relationship with Target? No, you'll go back next week or next month. So you have this higher lifetime value. The easiest way to get a lifetime value with a customer is to just put them on a monthly subscription. So they pay you one time, like BookDaddy is various prices depending on whether you got a discount or you came in from an ad or you came in organically. There's different price points, but it's all around the same price point. Let's say $50. Someone pays us $50 a month. If they stay with us for 2 years, then they're going to pay us $1,200, $50 times 24. Imagine giving someone $1,000. That's a lot, right? But it takes you 2 years. So the lifetime value of a subscription is very powerful. It also gives you a baseline for your business. So let's say you launch your book, you spent some money on marketing, and you got $5,000. What if $1,000 of that 5,000 is a subscription? That means that next month you're going to have another 1,000, and the next month you're going to have another 1,000, and the next month you're going to have another 1,000. So what you can do is you can keep the engine running. It's like you have more and more fuel. You can take that $1,000, maybe put it into marketing or help with your second book. Now you have some cash on hand to reinvest in your company. A lot of beginner entrepreneurs or people that don't understand business don't understand how risky business people are. Business people are incredibly risky. Usually their money goes down to zero. When I start companies, I don't take a dollar for years, literally. Because if there's any little bit of extra, it'll be like, oh, let me bring on a new employee, or let me try another software, or let me do some marketing, whatever it may be. So entrepreneurs are like very aggressive and risky. But it's easier if you have a baseline of a subscription. Your step one is you need to come up with what is a subscription? Just ask yourself, in my expertise, what could I give someone of value that would be worthy of them paying me on autopilot every single month? There's some baseline, and then there's got to be some continuous improvement. So think about Netflix. You buy Netflix, cool. All right, there's 1,000 movies. That's great. But what if Netflix never added new stuff? Eventually, you'd be like, it's stale. Nothing really going on. You have to have a baseline, but then you also have to have something continuous. That continuous nature is part of the subscription. This is called a feature stack. It's what are the features of this subscription, of this membership? Is it a software? Is it videos with you? Is it you get on calls with them, one-on-one, one-to-many, whatever it may be? And the more access that they have to you, the more expensive it should be, essentially. For example, if one of you are like, I want access to Jonathan's WhatsApp. I want to be able to message Jonathan or voicemail Jonathan. Hey, I have this idea, and then I'll voicemail you back and I'll WhatsApp you back. I would never do that. But I'm just saying, if I had that idea, it would probably be a couple $1,000s a month for that to be worth it to me. But for you, maybe that's $200 a month or $100. There's all sorts of ways that you can approach it. But whatever it is, whether it's fiction and helping people with their books or nonfiction and you're an expert of something and people want more access to you, you got to come up with a subscription. And then once you have this, a lot of you, how do I sell it? You have to build it first. This happens all the time in business. I get these people all, they'll be like, how do you do retargeting on Facebook? I was trying to do a pixel. Tell me about your business first. They're like, I don't really have the website. I'm still thinking it out. This is the wrong question. You're distracting yourself. The Facebook pixel thing is not your problem. You Google it, do some tutorials. You don't need me for that. That's not the big problem. The problem is that in your head, you're spinning or you focus on something else, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine to do whatever you want in your life as long as you're ethical and not hurting people. There's no wrong way to live your life. But if you have this calling to be an author and a professional writer and help people or businesses, if you have this calling, the step one is just being aware of what you need to build. And the first thing that you need to build is you need to build a suite of products. Every company in the world has a suite of products. Even think of Five Guys. Five Guys is famous for having a very simple menu. Do you want a burger? Do you want a hot dog? Do you want a milkshake? On French fries. They have 4 things. They have different sizes and condiments to make it a little bit more interesting, but they essentially sell 4 things. They're this international chain. I live in Madrid and there's 5 of them in Madrid. It's a very successful business. But even then, think about that. They sell 4 or 5 things. So even the minimalist companies have 4 or 5 products. Those are the most minimal companies. So you as a company also need 4. Imagine going to a cafe and they're like, oh no, I only do espresso. Can I get a latte or a cappuccino, or you don't have banana bread? No, we literally just do espresso. That's weird. Isn't that kind of weird? That would feel weird. What company only has 1 product? It's even Oreo. Oreo's only 1 product. No, they have the thin ones, they have the double stuff, they have the chocolate ones, they have the Christmas swirl. Like everyone has variations. Your book should have an ecosystem. The best fiction writers have merchandise, games, communities, events. They have behind the scenes extra, whatever. You got to build a portfolio of products. Business is easy. Business is I'll help you with your business, or self-development is I'll coach you. I can be like your therapist, or I can help you through your problems. You also have to have a subscription. The big problem with a lot of you guys is just name it, come up with a feature stack, and then come up with a price. You can't build anything unless you have the thing. So then build it and add it to your funnel. Just add it where people can buy it. And then you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this. It's okay, we'll figure it out. Or have us do it. Let's say your primary goal were to add a viable revenue stream to your income. Nonfiction for sure. Nonfiction is easier. Fiction is bigger. There's no nonfiction author that is The Hunger Games or Harry Potter. The One Thing by Gary Keller, or like Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, or Mel Robbins, or The 5-Second Rule. She's the hottest author right now in the nonfiction space. If you try to hire Mel Robbins to give her talk at your conference, it's probably $100,000 for a 30-minute talk. She's the pinnacle. She's got one of the best podcasts in the world. She's got 2 #1 New York Times bestsellers in the nonfiction space. She charges probably minimum $100,000 to come talk. So she's reached the pinnacle of nonfiction. Ryan Holiday, Robert Greene. In the nonfiction space, you can get pretty big and you can make a lot of money, but you're not making J.K. Rowling money. You're not making Star Wars money. You're not making Hunger Games money, Twilight money. You're not making Divergent money. You're not making Handmaid's Tale money. You're not making Sherlock Holmes money. So there's more money in fiction. Think about it this way. You want a viable business. You want a viable income stream. Should you create the new hot AI software? Or should you start a local landscaping business? That's like your question. There's no landscaping business as big as a software company or consumer goods, drinks or food. These are the total addressable market for these products are like everyone in the world. So if you want to make $1 billion, don't start a landscaping company. If you want to make $100 million, probably don't do nonfiction. But if you want to add $2,000 a month to your revenue, nonfiction's easier to do because it's more focused. You're like, oh, I'm the leadership business coach guy that helps CMOs in small to medium businesses do better marketing. You're not going to make $10 million, but you could probably get a bunch of contracts with local businesses and helping them with their marketing. So it's easier to enter the field with nonfiction. It's easier to make $5,000 to $10,000, but it's basically impossible to make generational wealth with nonfiction. Outside of a few exceptions, like the 7 Habits of Highly People, where they have big coaching programs behind it. There's a couple exceptions, but usually it happens because one of their descendants is really good at business and then they take the brand and scale it. Stephen Covey's been dead for a long time. But even then, like J.K. Rowling makes more money than the top 10 nonfiction authors combined. Step one is just do it. And you could do it in the next 15 minutes. A lot of the time you're getting in your own way. It's not going to be perfect. Come up with some features, come up with a price, and then add it to your portfolio. Don't be the cafe that only has espresso. You got to have a suite. Your book is one. Your audiobook is another one. You got to have some kind of community or subscription, and then you have to have something expensive. You have to at least have 4 products. How do you sell it? You send people to your landing page and ask them to buy it. And if you're like, how do I do that? We have all sorts of lessons on how to build the landing pages and the websites and all that kind of stuff. That's it. Is it possible to market a book with minimal budget successfully? Yeah. You do a social media and podcast tour, and then it's free. You email the top 200 podcasts, Instagram channels, YouTube channels, and blogs in your industry. If you're an Amazon bestseller, you lead with, hey, I'm an Amazon bestseller and blah, blah, blah. I can help I'm sure your audience will love what I'm up to. I can help them. Let's say 10, 20% of them say yes. Now you're on a tour of 30 or 40 people. And if each one of them has 500 to 1,000 views, all of a sudden you were in front of 50,000 people. If you're good and you actually create fans, imagine speaking in front of 50,000 people. It's like a football stadium. Imagine if you go on a tour, podcast tour, social media tour, you're in front of 50,000 people. One of those could go viral and you get 1 million views. Then the call to action is, oh yeah, if you enjoyed this and you need help with blah, 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 you should go to my website. And then, how many of those 50,000 people will come to your website is dependent upon like how engaging you are and how much you taught them and how much you connected with them. But a lot of it is up to you. It's not like a mechanical thing. There's people that go on one podcast, 1,000 people listen to it and they have 400 raving fans. Then there's people that you could put them on Joe Rogan and everyone would forget about them the next day. Of course, you want to do attention arbitrage, like Gary Vee says, get the most attention you possibly can with the right audience for the cheapest amount. That's the game of marketing. You could be posting to social media a lot as well and build an organic following, but it takes time and it takes persistence and it takes discipline and it takes conviction and it takes being humble. Becoming a bestseller on Amazon, you only have to sell 10 or 20 books your opening day in the right category. So just like I've said this a million times, becoming a bestseller on Amazon is they want you to be a bestseller, but you have to play the game correctly. So when I say bestseller, I don't mean every day for the next 10 years, 500 people are going to buy your book. What I'm saying is that you get the title of Amazon bestseller because Amazon does rankings per category per day. If you're in the vegan gardening category, you probably need to sell 5 books to be #1 in the world. Right. So it's a matter of gaming the system and choosing the right categories and keywords and getting enough people to buy it the first day. But it doesn't have to be crazy. But that's not the point. That's not how you make money. That's just an ego thing. And it's just authority building. So that's step one. You become an Amazon bestseller so that you can go on a tour. With that tour, you have a funnel where you're selling additional products and services and not just telling people to go to Amazon. If you do the right thing, you can definitely make a profession at it.